This is a demonstration video on how to remove and replace the O-rings on a Bait Junkie 4-ounce or a Bait Junkie 7-ounce injector. This video is courtesy of shopbaitjunkies.com. What I'm going to show you is how to replace the O-rings on a 7-ounce Bait Junkie injector. Very simple to do, and the big thing is to determine of whether you want to replace the O-rings or if you need to replace the O-rings. The way to determine if you need to replace the O-rings is to do a simple air leak test. What you do is you take your hand and you cover the tip of the injector. You cover the whole of the tip. You take your other hand on the knob of the plunger and you pull out on the plunger. If the plunger pulls out and when you let go of it, if it doesn't automatically retract fully, that means air has gone over the top of the O-rings into the plastics cavity and you'll get oil or air in your plastics. Demonstrate that again. You cover the whole of the injector, you grab a hold of the knob of the plunger and you pull out on the plunger. If that comes out, when you let go of it, if it doesn't fully retract, you're getting air leaking around the O-rings. To replace the O-rings, you have to disassemble the injector. Simply remove the tip to start out with and pull it out. Now, what you want to do before you remove the O-ring is you want to clean the area around the O-ring to get the oils and the grease and the dirt and the grime off the O-ring. You don't want to go and use anything like scissors or knife or pick to pry the O-ring out. You don't want to take a razor blade or a knife to cut the O-ring to remove it. What you're going to do with the tools is you're going to end up scratching the edge of the O-ring seat, and when you put the new O-ring in, you may nick the O-ring. Over a period of time of using the injector, taking the injector tip out and putting it back in, you're going to cause that O-ring to rub up against that nick, and it will tear the O-ring and cause premature failure of the O-ring. The simple way of doing it, once you dry it, you clean it with the dry towel, is to take your forefinger and thumb of one hand, grab the injector, squeeze down and push off to the side, and the O-ring protrudes out. When it protrudes out, you grab it, pull it off, and you're done with it. Now, to remove the O-ring off the base of the plunger, you just simply unscrew the knob, pull the plunger out of the injector tube, and you got it there. Take it, clean it, get rid of all the oils, the greases, and the grime. Don't use a sharp instrument or anything to pick it out or cut it out. You just take your fingers, you put it over on the top of the O-ring, squeeze it around to the side, and it comes off, and you're done with that one. Now, Bait Junkie recommends, whether you're using a brand new injector or you're replacing the O-rings on a used injector, that you back the O-rings with Teflon tape. Now, how you do that is you just take your Teflon tape, you pull it out, you run it right over the top of the O-ring seat on either the plunger or the tip. You roll it around one time. You cut the Teflon tape. I don't like to rip it, I like to cut it. And once you get it cut, you take your new O-ring and you just slide it right over the top of the plunger into the O-ring's seat. And then you just take this extra Teflon tape that's there and you just roll it up towards the O-ring, and it seats down inside the O-ring seat. Now, what that's done is that's made the O-ring protrude out a little bit further of the seat, and it'll give you a little bit better of a seal on your in your injector. And you just take the tube, the rod, you put it back in, and you put the knob back onto it. Now you take the tip. You do the same exact thing with the tip. You take your Teflon tape, you put it up on your tip, wrap it around one time, take your scissors, cut the tape, take your new O-ring, put it right over the top of the O-ring seat, slide it in place, take your Teflon tape, roll it over the top, down to the O-ring, And then you just put the O-ring or the tip back inside the injector. Now when you do that air test to see if you got air leaking around the O-rings, you take your finger, you put it over the top, you grab a hold of the injector tube, and you pull. And when you let go, if it snaps back in place, that means you've got no air leaks. That's as simple as it can be to replace the O-rings on the injector or seating the O-rings with the Teflon tape. If you got any questions, you can send them to shopbaitjunkies.com, or you can contact me, Razor, on baitjunkies.com forum. Thank you.